Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to The Show Must Go Online. I'm Robert Miles, actor, writer, director, and creator of the Shakespeare Deck. Every week, for 8 months, a global cast and crew of all levels of experience have donated their time and talent freely as part of our ongoing mission to create Shakespeare for everyone, for free, forever. Tonight, we are excited to complete that mission. Tonight's production of William Shakespeare's The Tempest will commence in approximately 10 minutes' time. Welcome to the grand finale, everyone, and happy Love Theatre Day. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hitting the bell icon, of course, to receive all notifications, and follow us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter or at The Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. You can also post your reactions using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline and hashtag #LoveTheatreDay. And now, to introduce tonight's play, brought to us as always by the magnificent Ben Crystal, it's my pleasure to welcome to the show Ruben Espinosa. Ruben Espinosa is Associate Professor of English at the University of Texas at El Paso. He is the author of Masculinity and Marian Efficacy in Shakespeare's England and co-editor of Shakespeare and Immigration. He was elected to the Board of Trustees of the Shakespeare Association of America in 2018, and he is currently at work on his next 2 monographs, Shakespeare on the Border, Language, Legitimacy and La Frontera, and Shakespeare on the Shades of Racism, under contract with Routledge. Ruben, the show is The Tempest, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rob. First, I want to say it's an honor to be here today, so thank you for the invitation to do this. I'm really quite excited that I get to introduce The Tempest, because for someone invested in post-colonial and critical race studies of Shakespeare, this is such an important play. Most people know The Tempest as Shakespeare's last sole-authored play, which was first performed in 1611. And indeed, there are many who see it as Shakespeare's farewell to the theater. When Prospero says he intends to break his staff and drown his books near the end of the play, it's tempting to assume that Shakespeare is thinking about himself. For my part, I'm less invested in reading Shakespeare into the play and more interested to find its multivalent energies in our present moment. Before I get there, though, I'll very briefly lay out the plot and the play's structure. The Tempest is unique in that the action of the play unfolds in real time. We learn early on that prior to the actions in the play, Prospero, who was the Duke of Milan, was usurped by his brother Antonio and forced to flee Milan with his then infant daughter Miranda, and he found himself on the island where the play is set. On that island, Prospero met a young Caliban, who we learn was brought to the island by his mother Sycorax, who had to flee Algiers. She is accused of being a witch. So Prospero treats Caliban kindly, learns about the island, and then enslaves him. And he justifies this by saying Caliban attempted to violate his daughter. Also on the island when Prospero arrives was Ariel, who is a spirit who was imprisoned by Sycorax and later saved by Prospero. Saved insofar as he allows Ariel out of the tree where she was imprisoned, but Ariel is indebted to him and is his forced servant. So it's also worth noting that Sycorax died prior to Prospero arriving on the island and is only mentioned in the play. Oh, and Prospero knows magic, of course. So on that island are Prospero, Miranda, Caliban, Ariel. And it is clear that Prospero wants to own and control other beings. So when the play opens, Ariel is aiding Prospero in creating a tempest, and we learn that the ship near the shores of the island contains men from Italy. Alonso, king of Naples, Gonzalo, his counselor, Sebastian, the king's brother, and Antonio, Prospero's brother and the Duke of Milan. They are accompanied by other noblemen and a servant and butler, Trinculo and Stephano, respectively. Of course, the shipmen are there too. More on them later. The men were returning home to Italy from their journey to North Africa, where Alonso's daughter, Claribel, had just married the king of Tunis. As a result of the storm, the men fear that Alonso's son, Ferdinand, has drowned. He hasn't, and instead is on the island, captured by Prospero. I told you he likes to control other beings. And he is in the process of falling in love with Miranda. We quickly learn that this is all Prospero's doing. He orchestrated the storm, forces the men to land on the island, and torments them for a while before confronting his usurping brother to enact revenge, or so it seems. Instead, he forgives him and the other men, and this, I think, is worth noting. You see, The Tempest is neither a comedy nor a tragedy. It's a hybrid genre, what we call a romance today. It has both tragic and comedic qualities. Hence, it offers a feel-good ending, where conceivably Prospero gets to return to Milan, Miranda will marry Ferdinand and be in line to be the Queen of Naples, and everyone lives. Ariel is allowed her freedom. Caliban, however, remains enslaved. I want to make clear that there are many critics and readers who urge us to see Caliban in the way the play describes him, a monster, half fish, half human, a puppy, something less than human. Why not? There is a spirit in the play, right? We should not, or I'll be more straightforward, we cannot ignore the racist energies of the play. Caliban clearly represents the colonized subject of the early modern imagination. If he is described as monstrous or less than human, it's because the early modern English and European colonizers saw the indigenous peoples of the Americas and Africans as monstrous and less than human. Indeed, when Trinculo first sees Caliban, he imagines putting him on display and says of the English, and not his own Neapolitans, when they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Later in the play, Trinculo is taken by Caliban's willingness to serve Stephano, and he says, "A most scurvy monster, I could find it in my heart to beat him." While this moment in the play is clearly meant to be comedic, the sinister undertones of such a sentiment reveals to us the grotesque nature of enslavement and/or the genocide enacted on the indigenous peoples of the Americas. We need remember that Caliban is eager to serve Stephano and Trinculo because he wants to escape the abuse of Prospero, who has enslaved him. Indeed, early on, Prospero says to Caliban, "Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness." Stripes, of course, refer to the awful scars of whipping, scars that way too many Black slaves endured along the long history of the transatlantic slave trade. And it isn't just Prospero who shows such racism in the play. Indeed, when Alonso is downtrodden because he fears his son dead and his daughter far removed from his home because she is now married to the king of Tunis, Sebastian, Alonso's brother, says to Alonso that he is the only one to blame because he is the one who agreed to marry Claribel to an African. They begged him not to let him do this. Sebastian says, "Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss that would not bless our Europe with our daughter, but rather lose her to an African." So there it is. Lest you think they merely want Claribel a little closer to home, it is worth noting that Tunisia is closer to Naples than Naples is to Milan. And I want to credit Bernadette Andrea for pointing this out to so many of us readers. It is the foreignness of Africa, the foreignness of Africans, the foreignness of Blackness that is at play here. Claribel, Sebastian says, is our daughter and belongs to our Europe. In no uncertain terms, it is ethnocentrism. This ethnocentrism, this attention to slavery, this focal point on ownership is such a significant facet of this play. And this takes me back to the shipman. When the play opens, the storm is raging and the ship is on the verge of breaking. Gonzalo, King Alonso's counselor, urges the bosun to work to save the ship. The bosun, clearly annoyed that they are getting in the way of the work of the shipman, tells Gonzalo, the king, and the other noblemen to get to their cabins and let them alone to work. Before leaving, Gonzalo tells the bosun to remember who he has on board, meaning, of course, the king. The bosun's response is telling, "None that I love more than myself." In that life or death moment, social hierarchies cease to matter. The play, in its opening, puts on the table the idea of self-preservation at all costs. We should not think that anyone is above us, more important than us, more worthy of being saved than we are because of birthright. Birthright, as we know, is a hallmark of arguments for white supremacy. And thus this play, in our moment, in the aftermath of the public lynching of George Floyd, in a time when the likes of Boris Johnson and Donald Trump are in leadership positions, in the face of vast racism, this play takes on such urgent significance. Indeed, when the play closes, and in the true fashion of comedies, order is being restored, Prospero is forced to address Caliban. He says, "This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine." If the restoration of the order of things in the play depends on the subjugation of those who are Black or brown, then the social order needs to be permanently broken. Perhaps a different Tempest awaits us, and one where we, darker of skin, will not be your thing of darkness. Like the bosun, we need to love ourselves and fight for ourselves. These are the energies of the play, a great play that I find most worthwhile. My hope is that you will too. Enjoy the play, and actors break a leg. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruben, for that fabulous, uncompromising and thought-provoking introduction. Really sensational stuff. Thank you so much. And now, Groundlings, the show is about to begin. So make sure you're sitting comfortably and prepare yourselves for William Shakespeare's The Tempest.
A ship at sea.
Bosun!
Here, master. What cheer?
Good. Speak to the mariners. All to it yarly, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir, bestir!
Aye, my heart! Cheerily, cheerily, my heart! Yar, yar! Take in the topsail, into the master's whistle. Blow till thy burst thy wind, if room enough.
Well done. Have care. Where's the master? Here. Play the men.
I pray now, keep below.
Where is the master, bosun?
Do you not hear him? You mar our labor. Keep your cabins, you do assist the storm.
Nay, good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence, prepares these roarers for the name of king. The cabin, silence, trouble us not.
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
And none more than I love myself. You are a counsellor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, we will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long, and make yourself ready in your cabin for the best chance of the hour if it so happens. Early, good hearts, out of our way, I say.
I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable, for our own doth little advantage. If he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Down with the topmast! Yar! Yar! Lower! Lower! Bring her to try with the main course! Oh, plague upon this howling! We are louder than the weather or our office! What again? What do you hear? Shall we give over and drown? Have you a mind to sink?
A pox on your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, charitable dog!
Oh, work you then!
Cur, and you horse an insolent noisemaker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art!
I'll warrant him from drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanched wench.
Here, a hold! A hold! Get her 2 courses up to sea again! Lay her off!
Along! Along! Along!
Must our mouths be cold?
This one will be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it and gapes and whites to glut him.
Oh, we're Let's all sink with the king!
Let's take leave of him.
Now, would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground? long he frowned furs anything. The wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death. Ah!
(1-2) The Island, Prospero's cell.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, and the sky seems to fall down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes right around. Oh, I have suffered with those I saw suffer. A brave vessel who had no doubt some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or I had should the good ships I have swallowed, and the rotting souls within her.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe is the day!
No harm. I've done nothing but in care of thee. Of thee, my dear one. My daughter. Who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, the master of a poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know to never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time. I should inform thee farther. Lend me thy hand. Pluck my magic garment from me. Lie there, mine art. Wipe thine eyes. Have comfort. The dire spectacle of the wreck which touched the very virtue of compassion in me, I have with such provision in mine art so safely ordered that there's no soul, no, not so much perdition as a hair betid to any creature in this vessel. Thou hast heard cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down. But now, listen no farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour now come. The very minute bids thee ope thy eyes, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou was not out 3 years old.
Certainly, sir, I can.
By what? By any other house, person? Anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance.
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hast, and more, Miranda. But how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time, if thou remembrance aught ere? What camest it? How thou camest here, thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda. 12 years. Thy father was the Duke of Milan, and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was the Duke of Milan, and his only heir a princess, no worse issued.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was it we did?
Both. Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, we were heaved thence, but blessedly helped hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you further.
My brother, thine uncle, called Antonio. Pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at the time through all the signories, was the first, Prospero the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity, for the liberal arts without a parallel. Those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, to my state grew stranger, being transported, wrapped in secret studies. My false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most hatefully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. And now he was the ivory which had hid my princely truck, stuck my verdure out on it. Thou attendst not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee mark me. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, I'll dedicate it to closeness and bettering my mind, that which by being so retired or prized all popular rate, in my false brother awaked an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in the contrary, as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. He being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie, did believe that he was indeed the duke, out of the substitution and executing the outward face of royalty with all prerogative. Hence his ambition grew. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, needs will be absolute Millen. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom enough. Temporal royalties, he thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway, with the King of Naples, to give him annual tribute, to do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbound, alas, poor Millen, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition, and the event, and then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother.
Now
Good wounds have borne bad sons.
Now the condition. This King of Naples, being an enemy to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu of the premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Millen with all honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levelled, one midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio ope the gates of Millen, and in the dead of darkness, the ministers for the purpose hurried thence, me and my crying self.
Alack, for pity! I, not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it o'er again. It is a hint that rings my lies to it.
Hear a little further, and then I'll bring me to the present business, which now's upon us, without the which this story were most important.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colours fair painted their foul ends. In few they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to the sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a butt, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast, The very rats instinctively have quitted. There they hoist us to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the wind, whose pity sighing back did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubin, thou wast that did preserve me. Thou did smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, when I had decked the sea with drops full salt under my burden groaned, which raised me an ongoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had and some water that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, who being then appointed master of this design, did give us with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessities, which have steadied much. So out of his gentleness, knowing I loved my books, he furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prized above my dukedom.
Oh, would I might but ever see that man!
Now I rise. Sit still and hear the rest of our sea sorrow. Here, in this island, we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princes can, that had more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heaven thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
Now thus far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now my dear lady hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influences, if now I court not, but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Here,
what?
These more questions, thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, spirit. Come. I am ready now. Approach, my Ariel. Come.
All hail, great master, grave sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to the point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now in the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. The yards and bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightning, the precursor or the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning, were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, and made his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who is so firm, so constant, that this coil would not infect his reason?
Oh, not a soul but felt a fever of the mad. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine, and quit the vessel. Then, all afire with me, the king's son, Ferdinand, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, "Hell is empty, and all the devils are here!"
Why, that's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Close by, my master.
But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments not blemished, but fresher than before. And as thou badst me in troops, I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son, Ferdinand, I have landed by himself, whom I left cooling of the air with sighs in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting, his arms in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou hast disposed, and all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Bermudas. There she's hid. The mariners all under hatches stowed, who with a charm joined to their suffered labor, I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they all have met again and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw the king's ship wrecked and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there's more work. What is the time of day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses. This time took 6, and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou didst give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty!
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee, remember, I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without or grudge or grumblings. Thou did promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou dost, and think it's much to tread the ooze of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth when it is baked with frost.
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No,
Thou
sir.
hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Algiers.
Oh, was she so? I must once a month recount what thou hast been, and that which thou forgett'st. This damn witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, from Algiers thou knowest was banished. But one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is not true?
Sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst, thyself was then her servant, for thou was a spirit too delicate to act her earthly and horrid commands. Refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee by help of her more potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, in which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died, and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He that Caliban, who now I keep in service. Best knowest what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl, and penetrate the breasts of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not again undo. It was mine art. I arrived and heard thee, the maid gaped the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
Thou more murmurest. I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, my master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. Say what? What shall I do? Say what shall I do?
Go make thyself like a nymph of the sea, subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, take this shape, and hither come in it. Go, hence, with diligence. Awake, dear heart. Awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put happiness in me.
Shake it off, come on. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho! Slave! Caliban! Thou earth, thou! Speak!
There's wood enough within!
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise! Win! Wine. Apparition, my quaint Ariel. Hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself, upon thy wicked dam come forth!
As wicked dew as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen drop on you both. A southwest blow on ye and blister you all o'er.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that pen thy breath up, urchin shell for the vast of night, that they may work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than bees that made them.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine, by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me, made much of me, wouldst give me water with berries in't, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less the burn by day and night, and then I loved thee, and just showed thee all the qualities of the isle. The fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so! All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you stye me in this hard rock, whilst you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whose stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh, what had been done? Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Abhorred slave, which in any print of goodness will not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but would gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, at that end which good natures could not abide to be with, Therefore wast thou deservedly confined into this rock, but deserved more than a person. You taught me language, and my profit on't is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Exceed hence. Let us fool. Be quick. Thou's best to answer other business. Shrugs thou malice? If thou neglect'st or doth unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps and fill thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
Oh, pray thee. I must obey. His art is of such power it will control my dam's god, Setebos. Make a vassal of him.
Go, slave, hence!
Unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsy when you haven't kissed the wild waves whist. Put it featly here and there, and sweet sprites the burden bear. Hark, hark.
Where should this music be? The air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island, sitting on a bank, weeping again, the king, my father's wreck. This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion. With its sweet air thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones a coral made. Those are pearls that are his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Denham's hourly ring is now. Ding dong, hark how I hear them. Ding dong.
The ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now, above me.
The fringe curtain of thine eyes advance, and say what thou seest.
What is the spirit? Lord, look how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have, such. This gallant which thou seest was in the wreck, and but he's something stained with grief. That's beauty's canker. Thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellow, and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine. For nothing I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see, as my soul wants it. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll free thee within 2 days for this.
Most sure goddess, on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer, may know if you remain upon this island that you will some good instruction give, how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder, if you be maid or no?
No wonder, sir, for certainly a maid.
My language, heavens! I am the best of them that speak this speech, for I but where 'tis spoken.
How? The best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
Single thing as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since had beheld the king, my father wrecked.
Alack, for mercy!
Yes, faith. And all his lords, the Duke of Milan, and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan, more braver daughter, could control thee if now 'twere fit to do it. At first sight, they have changed eyes. Delicate Ariel, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that ever I saw, the first that ever I sighed for. Pity move my father to be inclined my way.
Oh, if a virgin and your affection not gone forth, I'll make you Queen of Naples.
Sir, one word more. They are both in either's powers. But this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning makes the prize light. One word more, I charge thee. Thou attends me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No, as I am a man.
There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell in't.
Follow me.
Oh.
Not you for him. He's a traitor. Come, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Sea water shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh book mussels, withered roots, and husks, wherein the acorn cradled. Follow.
No, I shall resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear father, make not too rash a trial of him, for he's gentle and not fearful.
What I say? My foot, my tutor? Put thy sword up, traitor. Who dares not strike. My conscience is so possessed with guilt. Come, from thy ward. I here disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father!
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity! I'll be his shorty.
Silence. One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thou thinkest there are no more shapes as he? Having seen but him and Caliban, foolish wench, to the most of men this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. My nerves are in their infancy again, and have no figure in them.
So they are, and my spirit, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wrack of all my friends, nor this man's threats, to whom I am subdued, are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, all corners else of the earth, let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
Come on. Thou hast done well, fine Ariel. Follow me. Hark, what else thou shalt do.
Be of comfort. My father's of a better nature, sir, than he appears by speech. This is unwanted which now comes from him.
Thou shalt be as free as mountain winds. Let them exactly do all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow. Speak not for him.
Ah!
2-1, the island.
marry. You have cause, so have we all, of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
Receives comfort like cold porridge.
More so.
Look, he's winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir.
One, tell.
When every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer.
$1.
Dollar comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord.
Oh, what a spendthrifty of his tongue.
I prithee, spare.
Well, I have done. But yet...
He will be talking.
Which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow?
The old cock.
The cockerel.
Done. The wager?
A laughter.
A match.
Though this island seemed to be
so
deserted,
paid,
uninhabitable, and almost inaccessible,
yet
he could not miss it.
It must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Temperance was a delicate wench.
Aye, and a subtle, as he most learnedly delivered.
The air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs, and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Of that there's none nor little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks! How green!
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
This is not much.
No, he doth but mistake the truth totally.
The rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit.
As many vouched rarities are.
But our garments, being as they were drenched in the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness, and glosses being rather new dyed than stained with salt water.
If but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies?
Aye, or very falsely pocket up his report.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Africa at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen.
Not since Widow Dido's time.
Widow, a pox on that. How came that widow in, Widow Dido?
What if he had said widower Aeneas too? Good Lord, how you take it.
Widow Dido, said you. You make me study of that. She was of Carthage, not of Tunis.
This Tunis, sir, was Carthage.
Carthage?
I assure you, Carthage.
His word is more than the miraculous harp.
He hath raised the wall and houses too.
What impossible matter will he make easy next?
I think he'll carry this island home in his pocket and give it to his son for an apple.
And sowing the kernels of it in the sea, bring forth more islands.
Aye.
Why, in good time.
Sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen.
And the rarest that e'er came there.
Bait, I beseech you, Widow Dido.
Oh, Widow Dido, aye, Widow Dido.
Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the day I first wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
When I wore it at your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. would I had never married my daughter there, for coming thence my son is lost, and in my rate she too. We're so far from Italy removed, I never again shall see her. O thou, mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water, whose enmity he flung aside and breasted the surge most swollen that met him. His bold head 'bove the contentious waves he kept, and oared himself with his good arms in lusty stroke to the shore that o'er his wave-worn basis bowed, as stooping to relieve him. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss. That would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African, where she at least is banished from your eye, who hath cause to wet the grief on't.
Prithee,
you were kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us. And the fair soul herself, weighed between loathness and obedience, at which end of the beam should bow. We have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan, Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of the loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster.
Very well.
And most certainly.
It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather.
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord,
You sow it with nettle seed.
Or docks, or mallows.
and were the king on't, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine.
In the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things. For no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate. Letters should not be known. Riches, poverty, and use of service, none. Contract, succession, born, bound of land, tills, vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil. No occupation. All men idle, all. And women too. But innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet he'd be king on it.
The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. Treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind all poison, all abundance to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among his subjects?
None, man. All idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
Save his majesty.
Long live Gonzalo.
And, oh, do you mark me, sir?
Prithee, no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always used to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh at nothing still.
Oh, what a blow was there given.
And it had not fallen flat long.
Gentleman of brave metal, you would lift the moon out of her sphere if she would continue in it 5 weeks without changing.
We would so, and then go a bat-fowling.
Nay, good my lord, be not angry.
No. I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me to sleep, for I am very heavy?
Go, sleep and hear us.
Ah. All so soon asleep. I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find myself not disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together all, as by consent. They dropped as by a thunderstroke. What might, worthy Sebastian? Oh, what might? No more. And yet, methinks I see in thy face what thou shouldst be. The occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees the crown dropping upon thy head.
What? Are thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do. And surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speaks out of thy sleep. What is it thou didst say? Oh, this is a strange repose, to be asleep with eyes wide open, standing, speaking, moving, and yet so fast asleep.
Noble Sebastian, thou lett'st thy fortune sleep, die rather, winkst, while thou art waking.
Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I am more serious than my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, which to do troubles the oar.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Do so. To ebb, hereditary sloth instructs me.
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish while thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Ebbing man, indeed, most often do so near the bottom run by their own fear or sloth.
Prithee say on. The setting of thine eyne and cheek proclaim a matter from thee, and a birth, indeed, which throws thee much to yield.
Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory when he is earth, hath here almost persuaded, for he's a spirit of persuasion, only professes to persuade. The king, his son's alive. Well, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Oh, out of that no hope, what great hope have you? No hope, that way is another way, so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wink beyond, but doubt discovery there. Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples?
Claribel?
She that is queen of Tunis? She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life? She that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post, the man of the moon too slow? 'Tis till newborn chins be rough and razorable? She that from whom we all were sea swallowed? Though some cast again, by that destiny, to perform an act whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true, my brother's daughter Queen of Tunis, so is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Clarabelle measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say, this were death that now hath seized them. Why, they were no worse than now they are. There be that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps, lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. I myself could make a chop of as deep chat. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
Ah, and how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments sit upon me. Much feater than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience?
Aye, sir. Where lies that? For a kite would put me to my slipper, but I feel not this deity in my bosom. 20 consciences that stand twixt me and Millen can indeed be they, and melt ere they molest. Here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, can lay to bed forever, whilst you, doing thus to the perpetual wink, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the rest, they'll take suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to any business that we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gotst Millen, I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together. Then let us both be sudden.
While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy his time doth take. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake. Awake! Now, good angels, preserve the king.
Well, now, wake! Why are you drawn? What means this ghastly looking?
Oh, what's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls. Or rather, lions. Did not wake you. It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear. To make an earthquake, sure it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that a strange one too, which did awake me. I shaked you, sir, and cried. As my eyes oped, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. Yeah, 'tis best we stand on our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure in the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
The island.
All the infection the sun looks up and bogs
fens, flats on Prospero fall, and make him by inch meal a disease. The spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, pitch me i' the mire, nor lead me, like a firebrand in the dark, out of my way, unless he bid 'em. But for every trifle are they set upon me, sometime like apes, mow and chatter at me, and after bite me. Then like hedgehogs, which lie tumbling in my barefoot way, and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do ease me into madness. Lo now, lo, here comes a spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. Perchance he will not mind me.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear up any weather at all. And another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Oh, yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man? Or a fish? Dead? Or alive? Oh, no, a fish. No, he smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. Oh, kind of the not newest Poor John. A strange fish. You know, were I in England now, as once I was, I had but this fish painted, well, not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Well, any strange beast there makes a man. They will not give a doigt to relieve a lame beggar. They will lay out 10 to see a dead Indian. Oh, legs like a man, and his fins like arms. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, my troth. I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Oh. Ah! Alas, the storm has come again. Oh. No. No. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud me till the dregs of the storm be past.
I shall no more to see, here I shall die ashore. This is a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. After the slaughter, the boatswain and I, the gunner and his mate, of Meg and Marian Efficacy, but none of us cared to date. For she had a tongue, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved us and was hard to the tailor might smack to her every village. Then and let her go. Ha! Thank you. Yeah, this is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort.
Do not torment me. Oh!
Hang on, what's the matter? Have we devils here? Do you put tricks upon us with savages and men of end, huh? I have not scaped drowning to be afeard now of your 4 legs. For it hath been as said, as proper man as ever went on 4 legs cannot make him give ground. And it shall be said so again, while Stephano breathes at nostrils.
torments me. Oh!
This is some monster of the Isle with 4 legs who have got, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief if be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on Neat's leather.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now and does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle. If he have never drunk wine before, it will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him and keep him tame, I will not take too much for him. He shall pay for him that hath him, and that soundly.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt. Thou wilt anon. I know it by thy trembling. Now Prosper works upon thee.
Come on your ways. Open your mouth. Here is that which will give language to you. Cat, open your mouth. This will shake your shaking. I can tell you, and that soundly. You cannot tell who's your friend. Hey, open your chaps again. Yeah.
I should know that voice. It should be. Oh, but he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me!
4 legs and 2 monsters. A most delicate monster. His forward voice is now to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, I will pour some in thy other mouth.
What? Stephano!
Doth thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy, this is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
No, Stephano! If thou beest Stephano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend. Trinculo!
If thou beest Stephano, Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by thy lesser legs. If any be Trinculo's legs, these are they.
Yeah!
Thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this moon calf? Can he vent Trinculos?
No, I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stephano? I hope thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead moon calf's gabardine for fear of the storm, and art thou living? Oh, Stephano, 2 Neapolitans escaped!
Oh, no, I prithee do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, that's a brave god and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a butt of sack which the sailors heaved overboard. By this bottle which I made of the bark of the tree with mine own hands since I was cast ashore.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escaped.
Well, swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck. I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book.
Ow.
Thou canst swim like a duck. Thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stephano. Oh, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, moon calf? How dost thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man of the moon when time was.
I have seen thee there, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Come, swear to that. Kiss the book. I will furnish it anon with new contents. Swear.
By his good light, this is a very shallow monster. Aye, afeard of him. A very weak monster. The man in the moon. A most poor, credulous monster. A well-drawn monster, in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. I prithee, be my god.
Oh, by this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When God's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Whoa, come on then, down and swear!
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. A most scurvy monster. I could find it in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss!
Oh, but the poor monster's in drink. An abominable monster.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, the wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster, to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering flibberts, and sometime I'll get thee young scammels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
I prithee now lead the way without any more talking. Trinculo, the king and all our company else being drowned, we will inherit here. Here, bear my bottle. Fellow Trinculo, we'll fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master, farewell. Farewell.
Holy monster, a drunken monster.
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetching firing at requiring, nor scrape trenching, nor wash dish. Ban Caliban has a new master, get a new man. Freedom, hidey, hidey, freedom, freedom, hidey, hidey, freedom, ban,
freedom, hidey, hidey, freedom,
freedom, freedom, freedom,
oh, brave monster, lead the way!
3-1. Prospero's cell.
There be some sports are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. This my mean task would be so as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some 1,000 of these logs. Upon a sore injunction, my sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work, and says such baseness had never like executor. I forget, but these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busylest when I do it.
Alas, now pray you work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. Pray set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Almost, dear mistress. The sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs a while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo, while I sit lazily by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease. For my good will is to it, and yours it is against.
Worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
Now, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my father, I have broken your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, the top of our admiration. Worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I abide with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with noblest grace she owed, and put it to the foil. But you, oh, you, so perfect and so peerless are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass, mine own. Nor have I seen more than I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. How features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty and the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly below my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven! Oh, earth! Bear witness to this sound, and crown what I profess with kind event. If I speak true, if hollowly invert what best is boded me to mischief, I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two of the most rare affections. Heaven rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
And mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and put me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife. If you will marry me, if not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no.
My mistress dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
Aye, with a heart as willing as bondage e'er of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in... And now, farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000!
So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Exit.
Grandlings, this is your 5-minute interval. You now have 5 minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves, and prepare for the second half. Please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, post your reactions using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline, and tag us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter and at the Show Must Go Online on Insta and Facebook. And now I'd love to welcome our incredible producer, Sarah Peachy, to the green room here. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi there. I believe you have an update for us on a couple of things.
I do indeed, yes. So first of all, a little update on our Redbubble shop. So if you head over to our online shop, which you will find the link in the video description, you can now get your hands on Carly Sponzo's beautiful illustrations of all 35 of our shows to date, with the last one to follow soon. Plus, we have a special edition, newly released tour t-shirt, which features all of the shows to date from the series, and shows and dates, sorry, from the series. So if you head on over and have a browse, grab yourself some merch. All profits go to the TSMGO actors and creators, and of course, Carly. And yes, so a reminder, it's in the video description. I also have a bit of an exciting announcement. So it may be the end of Shakespeare's first folio series, but it is not the end of the Show Must Go Online. So I'm very excited to announce that we will be back on Saturday, the 19th of December, 7 p.m. GMT, for a Christmas special, as we present a live performance of our very own Ian Desher's Shakespeare-inspired version of the festive classic, A Christmas Carol. So put the dates in your diaries, and to be the first to find out how to secure yourself tickets, make sure you are signed up to our mailing list by heading over to the website, robmiles.co.uk/The Show Must Go Online. Again, the link is in the video description. And make sure you are following us on our social channels. As Rob said, that's at TSMG Online Live for Twitter, and at The Show Must Go Online for Facebook and Instagram. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Please, could we now have Ruth Page to the stage? Hi, Ruth Page. Page on the stage.
I'm so excited. I knew about it, but I'm still so excited. Hello, everyone. Oh, so exciting. As always, a huge thank you to all of our patrons and your continued support of the series. If you've been with us since the Patreon existed, or if you joined yesterday, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your generosity has blown us all away. So thank you so much. Amazingly, we have a few more names to announce and shout out this week who've just joined our family. So a big thank you to Gowdy D, RLB, Alex M, and Corny H. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But as I hinted last week, and as Sarah has just revealed, we ain't going anywhere. So the Patreon is going to continue to exist. The Patreon will continue to get exclusive backstage content. And in the interim between today and Saturday, the 19th of December, if you didn't catch that, you're going to want to stick around on the Patreon. There's some exciting things coming. If you're new to the Show Must Go Online, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone involved in this project works entirely voluntary. And unfortunately, all of us have lost work and face a really uncertain future as a result of the pandemic. So if you would like to tip your actors and creatives today, then head on over to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/The Show Must Go Online. The link is in the description down below, so it's super easy to get there.
You can give as little or as much as you like, or you can give a one-off donation. All of it is appreciated, no matter how small. And in return, I can guarantee you exclusive access to TSMGO content that you won't find anywhere else. So come on over and join us on the Patreon page. And also, if you're following on social media this week, you will have seen some dress up prompts this week. So if you're dressed up as a pirate or a wizard, thank you very much. If you made some tasty treats, we hope you're enjoying them. And now, we're going to hand over to the wonderful Tanvi Vermani, who is back, who's going to chat a bit more to lovely Ruben. Hi, Tanvi.
Hello.
A bit more to Ruben. So Tanvi and Ruben, the floor is yours.
Hi, Ruben. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. This was fantastic.
Yeah, and what a brilliant, brilliant introduction.
Thanks.
I know that you've done extensive research on masculinity and immigration in Shakespeare, and I love how specific those topics are. What got you into that, such a specific branch of Shakespeare?
Well, I have to say, I mean, the first book was on masculinity and the Virgin Mary, but while working on that book, I became interested in perceptions of hospitality through religion, right? And that just seemed a kind of a very organic leeway into thinking about ethics of hospitality and immigration. And after the book on Shakespeare and immigration, it took off. All of my recent work has been on critical race studies of Shakespeare and really thinking through those particular issues.
What was there? What drew you to exploring those topics?
Well, it's very specific, honestly.
Yeah.
Coming to El Paso, yeah, that was about the moment that I was beginning to think about putting together this collection on Shakespeare and immigration with a colleague of mine, and we had at that point, this is pre Donald Trump, already a wall going up on the border, and here in El Paso, Texas, the border is quite fluid. You can walk from downtown El Paso straight into downtown Ciudad Juarez, which is across the border. But suddenly there was this big barrier as this kind of, symbol of inhospitality. And I've always felt, the work needs to be meaningful, needs to speak to our present moment. And so that was the impetus for thinking through how to focus on issues of immigration in Shakespeare. What can we bring to Shakespeare if we have those ideas in mind, if, we're approaching it from the lens of again, the ethics of hospitality, from the lens of present day racism, what we can bring to Shakespeare. And so that has been the driving force. And yeah, I think unfortunately, a lot of my colleagues say it's a timely topic, right? But it almost feels like immigration or anti-immigrant sentiments and racism is always a timely topic, unfortunately.
Yeah, and well, for me personally, as someone who hasn't, it's not something that I immediately noticed in Shakespeare in particular. Yeah. And then hearing what you had to say about it in your introduction was it was so eye-opening. Are there any big revelations that you've made across the Shakespearean text about immigration and racism?
I mean, so again, it's what we bring to the table. I'm fortunate to be part of a community of scholars who were working on Shakespeare and race across the board. David Sterling Brown, I think, who introduced one of the plays before, he's been drawing attention, as other scholars have as well, right, to the issue that race isn't delimited to the plays that involve people of color, right, within the plays. And so in a lot of ways, I mean, I think, for me, one of the plays that spoke to me was the issue of hospitality in a play like Hamlet, for example, which does not deal with race or racism, but it is calling for an ethics of hospitality. And in some ways, when you find that and when you think about that, it's possible to tap into those energies, to make them speak to the current moment, and the valence changes a bit. And so that has been exciting for me, and it is a consistent searching for those possibilities, through Shakespeare. So it's not that Shakespeare has some truth to teach us, right? But we can use it as a vehicle to discuss what I think are the most important, topics of our time, right? And then that is the racial inequities.
Yeah, and it's especially in our contemporary setting, like how a contemporary audience view it. and bringing those issues like what you said, you know, about Caliban and about the boats, about boatswain, you know, bringing those issues to light.
Right.
How? Yes. Yeah. I thought you were going to say something, so I was going to let you speak. Was there anything that you'd like to add to that? Or
I was just, you know, sorry, this is the awkward Zoom scenario, right?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I mean, you know, for me, I think when somebody like Boris Johnson, right, or Steve Bannon appropriates Shakespeare and really thinks about him in a particular way, I think it's important to take it back, right, and to bring Shakespeare to you know, not as a tool of white supremacy, quite frankly, right, but rather as a tool to dismantle that and to think about that. And it's in there. I mean, again, not to say that Shakespeare is progressive, but certainly I think there are ways to think about him and the value in that language.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And it's so nice to now see with Shakespeare, you know, way more diverse castings, which just add, which just add to what you're saying even more. Definitely. Thank you so much. It was very inspiring.
Thank you both so much for that. That was absolutely wonderful. I'm so sorry that we can't give it more time. I'd love to be able to catch up with you on this, Ruben. It's absolutely fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for shouting out the wonderful David Sterling Brown as well, friend of the show. Always a wonderful human being. But now the second half is about to commence. So if I can ask you to retire to our backstage area for the time being, that'd be most appreciated. Thank you so much both. Really fascinating insights there. Audience, the second half is about to begin. So please make sure that you have liked this video, subscribed to the channel, maybe made a cheeky donation to the Patreon if you so wish, or maybe got yourself some merchandise. But otherwise, please sit down, relax, and prepare to enjoy the second half of William Shakespeare's The Tempest.
3-2, the island.
Tell not me. When the butt is out, we will drink water, not a drop before. Therefore, bear up and boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster? The folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are 3 of them. If the other 2 be brained like us, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Well, where should they be set else? He were a brave monster indeed if they were set at his tail.
My man monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore, 35 leagues off and on. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
No, you're lieutenant if you list. He is no standard.
Will not run, monsieur monster.
Nor go neither. You'll lie like dogs and yet say nothing, neither.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honour? Let me lick thy shoe.
Oh.
I'll not serve him. He is not valiant.
Oh, thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in case to justle a constable. Why, thou debauched fish, thou. Was there ever a man, a coward, that hath drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
Oh, how he mocks me. Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
Lo, again. Bite him to death, I prithee.
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree. The poor monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Will thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made today?
Marry will I, and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Trinculo, Up! So shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest!
Thou liest! Thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him in any more's tale, I, by this hand, will supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
Mum, then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, by sorcery he got this oil. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord, I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayst knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest, thou canst not.
What a pied ninny's this? Thou scurvy patch. I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand, I'll turn my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I? I did nothing. I'll go further off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
What?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Do I so? Well, take thou that.
Yeah. Well, no.
Take thou that.
No.
No. Take thou. Take thou that! Yeah! You like this? Give me that time!
No, I did not get the lie!
Yeah!
Out of your wits and hearing, too? A pox on your bottle! This can sack and drinking do! A murrain on your monster, and the devil take your finger!
Now, forward with your tale. Prithee, stand thee further off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Stand further. Further. Yes. Come, proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him at afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst blame. Having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his weasand with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot, as I am, and hath not one spirit to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. He has brave utensils, for so he calls them, which when he has a house he'll deck withal. And that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a non-carale. I never saw a woman but only Sycorax my dam, and she, but she as far surpasseth Sycorax, as greatest does least.
Is it so brave, alas?
Aye, Lord. He will become thy bed, I warrant. Bring thee forth brave.
Monster, I will kill this man. His daughter and I will be king and queen, save our graces, and Trinculo and thyself shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo? Trinculo?
Excellent!
Give me thy hand! I am sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour will he be asleep? Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on mine honour.
This will I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry. I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Wilt thou troll the catch you taught me but while ere?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason, any reason. Come on, Trinculo, let us sing. Loud'em and scout.
Loud'em and scout 'em, and scout 'em and flout 'em.
That's not the tune!
What is this same?
What? It is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody?
If thou beest a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou beest a devil, takest as thou list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts. I defy thee. Mercy upon us.
Are thou feared?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeard. The oil is full of noisy sounds and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then in dreaming, the clouds we thought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a kingdom to me where I shall have my music for nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
Yeah, that shall be by and by. I remember the story.
Oh, the sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Lead, monster, we'll follow. I would I could see this taborer. He lays it on.
Wilt come? I'll follow, Stephano.
3-3, the island.
By your laken, I can go no further, sir. Mine old bones aches. Here's a maze trod indeed through forthrights and meanders. By your patience, I must rest me.
Oh, Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with a weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Here. I put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He is drowned whom thus we stray to find. And the sea mocks our trusted search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he's so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forgo the purpose that you've resolved to effect.
The next advantage we will take throughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travail. They will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
What harmony is this? My good friends, hark!
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns, that in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix is thrown, one phoenix at this hour reigning there.
Oh, I'll believe both. And what does else want credit? Come to me, and I'll be sworn 'tis true. Travelers ne'er did lie, the fools at home condemn 'em.
In Naples, I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say, I saw such islanders, for certes these are people of the island, who though they are of monstrous shape, yet not their manners are more gentle, kind than of our human generation, you shall find many, nay, almost any.
Miss Lord, thou hast said well. Some of you there present are worse than devils.
Cannot too much muse that shapes, that gesture, and such sound expressing, though they want their use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse.
Praise and departed.
They vanish strangely.
No matter, since they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Wilt thou please taste of what is here?
Not I.
Faith, sir, you need not fear. When we were boys, who would believe that there were mountaineers dual-lapped like bulls whose throats had hanging out of wallets of flesh, or that there were such men whose heads stood in their breasts, which now we find each put her out a 5-to-1 will bring us good wine.
I will stand to and feed, although my last no matter, since I feel the best is past. Father, my lord, that you stand to and do as we.
You are 3 men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world, and what is in it the never-surfeit sea, hath caused to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even as such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my like fellows are ministers of fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered, may as well wound the loud winds, or with the mocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one doll that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massive for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you 3 from Millen did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers, delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee, of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart's sorrow, and a clear life ensuing.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel. The grace it had, devouring of my instruction, hast thou nothing bated what thou hast to say. Though with good life and observation strange, my meaner ministers their several kinds have done. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. They now are in my power, and in these fits I leave them, whilst I visit young Ferdinand, whom they're supposed is drowned, and his and mine loved darling.
Oh, it is monstrous. monstrous, methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The wind did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of it. Base my trespass, therefore my son in the ooze is buried, and I'll seek him deeper than a plummet sounded, and with him there lie muddied.
But one fiend at a time. I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite their spirits. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
(4-1) Prospero's cell.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends. For I have given you here a third of mine own life, that for which I live. Once again, I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here, afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast of her, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then, as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot, before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with full and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspiration shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discourse shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so lowly that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamp shall light you.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue and long life, with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion, our worser genius shall never melt mine honor into lust, to take away the edge of that day's celebration, when I shall think of Phoebus' steeds are foundered or night kept chained below.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What? Ariel? My industrious servant? Ariel?
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows, your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble, or whom I give thee power, here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of my art, which is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently.
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go, and breathe twice or cry so, each one tripping on his toe, we'll be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No?
Dearly, my delicate Ariel. Do not approach till thou dost hear me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look thou, be true. Do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire in the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warrant you, sir, the white cold virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well, and now come, my Ariel. Bring a corollary rather than want to spirit. appear in Berkeley. No tongues. All eyes, be silent.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lees of wheat, rye, barley, fetches, oats, and peas, thy turfy mountains, where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stover, them to keep, thy banks with pions with lead brims, which spongy April at thy hest betrims, to make old nymphs chase crowns in thy broom groves, whose shadow the dismissed batch the loves, being last lorn by pole-clipped vineyard and by sea much sterile and rocky heart, where thou thyself dost stare, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport her peacock's fly mane. Approach rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, that ne'er dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubbed down, rich scarf to my proud earth. Why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short-grassed green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate upon the blessed lovers.
Oh, tell me, heavenly bow, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen? Since they did plot the means that dusky Diz my daughter got, her and her blind boy's scandaled company I have forsworn.
Of her society be not afraid. I met her deity cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son dove drawn with her. Here thought they to have done some wanton charm upon this man and this maid, whose vows are that no bed right shall be paid till Hymen's torch be lit. But in vain. Mars's hot minion is returned again. Her waspish-headed son has broke his arrows, swears he will shoot no more but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes. I know her by her gait.
Oh, does my bounteous sister go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honored in their issue? Honor, riches, marriage, blessing, long come.
see vines with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly bud and bowing. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres, blessing, so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision, harmoniously charming. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits which mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father and a wise makes this place paradise.
Sweet now, silence. Juno and Circes whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush, be mute, or else our spell is marred.
You nymphs called Naiades of the windering brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels, and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Be not too late.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done. Avoid. No more.
Strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort. As if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. These our actors, as I foretold you, are all spirits, and are melted into thin air. Into thin air. Like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, and the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant, fade, and leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness. My old brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you please, retire to my cell, and there repose. Turn it to, I'll walk, and still my beating mind.
We wish your peace.
Come with a thought. I thank ye. Ariel, come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban.
Aye, my commander. When I presented Ceres, I thought to have told thee of it, but feared lest I might anger thee.
Say again, where didst thou leave those varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing of their feet, and yet always bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked colts, their ears pricked, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their nose as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears that calf-like they my lowing followed through toothed briars, sharp furzes, prickling ghosts, and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to their chins that the foul lake o'erstunk their feet.
Was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible, retain again, till thou the trumpery in my house. Go bring it hither. For stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
A devil, born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring. Come, hang them on this line.
Shh. Tread softly, that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We are now near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you said is a harmless fairy, has done little better than played the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take a displeasure against you, look you.
Well, thou wert but a lost monster.
Good my lord, give me thy favour still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore speak softly. All's hushed as midnight yet.
But to lose our bottles in the pool.
Not only disgrace and dishonour in that monster, but infinite loss.
Oh, that's more to me than my wedding. This is your harmless fairy monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er ears for my labour.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou there? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and I thy Caliban, for I thy foot liquor.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
King Stephano, appear. Oh, worthy Stephano, look what a wardrobe is here for thee.
fool. It is but trash.
Oh, monster, we know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stephano!
Now, put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
Oh, thy grace shall have it. Huh?
Lopsy, drown this fool. What do you mean to dote thus on such luggage? Let it alone and do the murder first. If he awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Be you quiet, monster. Gah. Mistress Line, is not this my jerkin? Now is the jerkin underline. Now, jerkin, you are like to those to lose your hair and prove a bald jerkin.
Oh, do, we steal by line and level, and like your grace.
I thank thee for that jest. Here's a garment for it. Wilt thou shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country. Steel by line and level is an excellent pass of pate. There's another garment for it.
Monster, come, put some lime on your fingers and away with the rest.
I will have no nonsense. We shall lose our time and be turned to barnacles, or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Monster, lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away where my hogshead of wine is, or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
And this.
I am this.
Hey, Mug. Hey.
Silver, there goes Silver.
Fury there. Tyrant there. Hark. So charge my goblins, that they grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more pinch-spotted make them than pard or cat of the mountain.
Hark, they roar.
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lies at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors end. Thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little follow, and do me service.
(5-1) Prospero's cell.
Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey. Time upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so. First I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together, in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them. All prisoners, sir, in the lime grove which weather fens your cell. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, pity brimful of sorrow and dismay, but chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard till winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. As thou, which art but air, touch, feeling of their affections, should not myself, one of their kind, relish all as sharply passion as they, kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet With my nobler reason, 'gainst my fury, do I take part. A rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, sole drift of my purpose doth extend, not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Elves of hill, brooks, standing lakes and groves, and he that on the sands with printless foot chase the heavy Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. You, demi-puppets, by moonlight do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the yew not bites, and you, pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aids, weak masters though they be, I have bedimmed the noontime sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war to the dread rattling thunder, have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak out with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Braves at my command have waked their sleepers, opened and let them forth. So by my potent arts, this rough magic I hear abjure. When I have required some heavenly, even now I do, put mine end upon their senses, this airy charm is for. I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, deeper than did ever plummet sound. I'll drown my book. Solemn air, best comforter to an unsettled fancy. Cure thy brain, now useless, boiled within thy skull. There stand, where you are spell stopped. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, mine eyes, even sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. The charm dissolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. O good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him that thou followest, I will pay thy graces home both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, you, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse, and nature, whom with Sebastian, whose inward pinches therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Our understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shores that now lie foul and muddy. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me. Ariel, fetch me the jacket in my cell. I will discard me and myself present as I was sometimes millen. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Ere the bees suck their suck, I in a
I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So. To the king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches. The master and the boatswain, being awake, enforce them to this place, and presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me and return, or ere your pulse beat twice.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that a living prince doth now speak to thee, I embrace thy body. To thee and thy company I build a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I not know. Thy tongue beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind, amends with which I fear a madness held me. This must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story, thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me for my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
First, my noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends, all, but you, my brace of lords. Were I so minded, I could here pluck his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitors. But this time, I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in him.
No. For you, most wicked sir, whom to call a brother would even infect my mouth, I do forgive the rankest faults, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
Must restore. If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were wrapped upon this shore, where I have lost how sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand.
I am woed for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, for whose soft grace, for the like loss, I have her sovereign aid, and rest my content.
You the like loss?
As great to me as late, and supportable to make the dear loss. I have means much weaker than you may call to comfort you. For I have lost my daughter.
Daughter? Oh, heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. That they were, I wish myself were muddied in that oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
The last tempest. Welcome, sir. This cell's my court. Here I have few attendants and subjects none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with a good thing, or at least bring forth a wonder to content ye, as much as me my dukedom.
Sweet Lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now, all the blessings of a glad father compass me about. Arise and say how thou camest here.
Oh, wonder! How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world! Oh, that has such people in it!
New to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Your eldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that hath severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She's the daughter of this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before, of whom I have received a second life and second father. This lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere this. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown, for it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither.
I say amen, Gonzalo.
Milan, thrust from Milan that his issue should become kings of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond their common joy, and set it down with gold on lasting pillars in one voyage. Did Claribel find her husband at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother found a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so, amen. Ah, look, sir, here is more of us. I prophesied if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Now blasphemy that swear'st grace or board, not an oath on shore? Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
Well, the best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight and yar and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all of this service have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. Say, how came you hither?
I did think, sir, I were well awake, I'd strive to tell you. We were dead of a sleep, and how we know not all clapped under hatches were, but even now, with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible, we were awaked straight away at liberty, where we in all our trim freshly beheld our royal, good and gallant ship, our master capering to eye her. On a trice, so please you, even in a dream we were divided from them, and were brought moping hither.
Was't well done?
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free.
This is as strange a maze as e'er man trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single, I'll resolve you, which to you shall seem probable, of every these happening accidents. Till when, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio!
Oh, if these be true spies, when I wear my head, here's a goodly sight.
Oh, Sedibus, these are brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my Lord Antonio? Will money buy 'em?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords. They then say if they be true. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, have plotted with them to take my life. Two of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
Pinched to death?
Is not this Stephano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo is reeling right. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded him? How camest thou in this pickle?
Oh, I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stephano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stephano, but a cramp.
You'd be king of the isle, sir?
I should have been a sore one then.
This is a strange thing as e'er I looked on.
He is as disproportionate in his manners as in his shape. Go, sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions, and look you to have my pardon. Trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will. And I'll be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. Thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away.
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Stole it, rather.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, which part of it I'll waste with such discourse as I no doubt shall make it go quickly, the story of my life, the particular accidents gone by since I came to this island. And in the morn, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dearly beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the air strangely.
I'll deliver it all. Promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and a sail so expeditious that you'll catch your royal fleet far off. is thy charge. Be free, and fare thou well. Please you, draw near. Now my charms are o'erthrown, and what strength I have is my own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my Beauchamp got and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.
Exit.
Congratulations, one and all. Get out here, come take a bow and give yourselves a big, noisy round of applause. Stunning, stunning work, each and every one of you. To those of you watching all around the world at home right now, thank you. Thank you for joining us, not just today, but every week for the last 8 months. You have been one of the most extraordinary audiences that any theatre group could ever be lucky enough to have. So thank each and every one of you so, so very much. Please allow me now to introduce you to the cast and crew, starting, of course, with the incredible Sarah Peachy.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm an actor and innovation project manager based in Glasgow.
Our Associate Director, Stage Manager and Master of Props, Emily Ingram.
Good evening, my name's Emily. I'm a writer, director, stage manager, props maker and artistic director of some kind of theatre company based in Edinburgh.
Our Associate Producer, Matthew Rhodes.
I am Matthew Rhodes. I'm an emerging theatre artist on unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh territory, also called Vancouver, Canada.
On music and sound, Adam Gibson.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a sound designer, engineer, and music composer, currently between London and Scotland.
And our wonderful social media and Patreon officer, Ruth Page.
Hiya, I'm Ruth. I am a Midlands born and based actor and social media manager.
Fabulous. And our cast for this evening as Prospero, David Collins.
Hello, I'm David Collins, actor from Stratford, Ontario.
Ariel, Betsy Bowman.
Hi, I'm Betsy Bowman. I am an actor and fire dancer in Chicago, Illinois.
Caliban, Doireann May White.
I am Doireann May White. I'm an actor based in London.
Miranda, Yolanda Ovide.
Hi, I'm Yolanda. I'm an actor and I'm based in London.
Antonio, Andrew Pawarroo.
I am Andrew Pawarroo. I'm an actor based in Ontario, Canada.
Ferdinand, Orchado.
Hi, my name's Orchado. I'm an actor-writer based out of Brooklyn, New York.
Gonzalo, Lynsey Beauchamp.
Hi, I'm Lynsey Beauchamp. I'm an actor from the UK, Canada, and America.
Sebastian, Dafydd Howells.
Hello, I'm Dafydd Howells. I'm an actor based in London.
As Alonso, John D. Huston.
Hello, I'm John D. Huston, an actor based in Ontario, Canada.
Stephano, Alex Phelps.
Hello, I'm Alex Phelps. I'm an actor based in London.
Iris, Michelle Kelly.
Hi, I'm Michelle Kelly. I'm an actor and singer based in South Yorkshire, England.
Trinculo, Tiffany Abercrombie.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Abercrombie. I'm a semi-retired actor based in New York City.
Bosun, Meg Hodgson.
Hi, my name's Meg Hodgson. I'm an actor and performance artist based in Paris.
Amazing. Amazing. Series, Candice Lung.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Candice Lung. I'm an actor. I'm based in Los Angeles.
Francisco, Victoria Raysuk.
Hi, I'm Victoria Raysuk. I'm an actor, director, and the artistic director of Food of Love based in New York City.
Adrian, Ian Desher.
Hi, I'm Ian Desher. I am a writer in Portland, Oregon.
And master of the ship, Ian Desher. Fabulous. And Juno, Sarah Freer.
Hello, I'm Sarah Freya. I'm an actress, singer, and writer in Toronto, Canada.
And our glorious swings for this evening, also making cameos, throwing some shapes, we have Chloe Wigmore.
Hi there, I'm Chloe Wigmore and I'm an actor based in London.
And Ben Galpin.
Hi, I'm Ben Galpin. I'm an actor also based in London.
Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for an absolutely stunning, if I may say flawless performance tonight. That was absolutely sensational. Thank you all so very much. Audience, if you have questions for tonight's cast and crew, please do get them in. But in the meantime, as we round off the series, it's important for me to thank the following contributors who have made what we've done possible for the last 8 months. Thank you, first of all, to Doctors Kay and Ed Guccione for their mentoring, data, qualitative and quantitative support, both personal and project-based. Thank you to Ben Crystal for mentoring, consultancy, imagination, and unflappable calm, and of course, all of our incredible guest introducers. While I'm there, thank you to all our guest introducers who have done so much preparation in order to share their expertise, insight, and unique perspectives into these phenomenal plays. Thank you to Richard Hand, Adam Woodhams, and Dan Blaker for your sound design efforts on previous shows. Thank you also to Jeremy Mortimer, Gemma Miller, Dan Beaulieu, and Dom Brewer for your help with editing the texts for the show. Thanks to Jeremy in particular for coordinating these efforts and for being a font of dramaturgical insight and an incredible resource over the run of these shows. Thank you to Sydney Aldridge for casting many of our shows, and to Meg Robinson and Fran Cataneo for their casting support as well. Thank you to Enrique Ortuño, Yarit Dorr, Janet Lawson, and our many stunt doubles over the series, making sure that we can accurately communicate Shakespeare's love of a rollicking good fight scene. Thank you to Andrew Nesbitt for evolving our design into beautiful merchandise, which, by the way, you can go and find now on our Redbubble store, including an exclusive 2020 tour t-shirt featuring all of the shows and dates from this incredible run of online theatre. Thank you to David Sterling Brown for his advice and guidance as we navigate casting many of these plays. Thank you to Carly Sponzo and Annabelle Higgins for their incredible artistry in commemorating the work that we've created week in and week out. The emotional and welfare kind of benefit that you've created really can't be underestimated. It's been an unbelievable privilege, something we never could have imagined. Thank you also to Ash Price, Natalie Chan, Chris Padden for additional support, together with the many friends and family members who were stagehands and body doubles, chaperones and laptop jockeys who have managed to make so many things possible. I think we may even have had a cheeky appearance from one of those people in Juno's frame at one point, which was absolutely delightful. Thank you to every single one of our nearly 500 actors and creatives who have come together to make this extraordinary series a reality, and a monument to a simple truth that Shakespeare really is for everyone. Thank you to Ruth Page for relentless dedication in keeping our presence felt outside of the rehearsal room, and for enriching our patrons with fantastic exclusives week in and week out, and for what we call lovingly your mic drop moments in the research and development phase. Thank you to Adam Gibson, who's worked around the clock, especially this week, but in fact most weeks, to add an amazing amount of production value to the shows and use the power of music to move and inspire our audiences and help create the world of the shows. Thank you to Matt Rhodes for his relentless energy and enthusiasm, passion and positivity. His dedication to thoughtfulness and sensitivity in particular has really elevated the work that we have done over this run. Thank you to Emily Ingram for her stalwart presence in every aspect of production, from the fundamentals of the practical execution to the incredible dedication to world building through design and the constant deployment of prop magic, including up to and including our wonderful I've forgotten what it's called. The Hourglass, that's the word I'm looking for. My God, I'm nearly there. Finally, thank you to Sarah Peachy for turning this idea into a reality, for being a constant driving force behind the scenes, and for building the ship that we have all been lucky enough to sail upon for this last 8 months. You are a one-woman phenomenon. You have enabled hundreds of people to deliver joy and playfulness to thousands in a way that will stand the test of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. I'm there. I've made it.
Take a breath, Rob. Take a breath.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I have to take the moment to jump in as well to say thank you to our very own William Shakespeare heading up this whole project. Rob, you're just a phenomenal leader. The creativity, the energy that you put into these shows week on week is just ridiculous. And the shows wouldn't be what they are without you. So thank you on behalf of all 500 people who have been involved. Such a gift for all of us. And what an amazing community we have as a result of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's going nowhere, in case you missed that in the interval, if you were going for a wee. I think we've got a special announcement, have we, Sarah? Would you like to just run that past our audience one more time before we jump into questions?
Yes, well, one last time again, that we are back for a Christmas special on Saturday, the 19th of December, 7 p.m. GMT. If you want to hear first about how you can sign up to come and join us for that show, make sure you join the mailing list by heading to the website. Link is in the description, and hitting, I've forgotten what the button is. It's been so long. Hit one of the buttons on the website to join up.
It's the take part button, and then fill in the watchers form. Yes,
that's
absolutely.
Exactly it. Yes, and also follow us on our social channels as well. We will be updating there as well.
Wonderful.
Rob, before we go to questions, I think we have a special guest that might have popped in. If you're there, would you like to come and join us? If you want to turn your camera on.
Ah, my camera needs to be turned on.
Yeah.
Let me, how about...
we didn't take you through the
always
training.
A challenge.
You should have the little camera icon at the bottom left of your screen.
I do. Ah.
There. Oh. You were there, and then and I can't see you again now. Do you want to try it again? There you are.
Bingo. I'm here. I hope people can hear me.
Yes.
Yes. You're maybe wondering who I am. I'm not here to represent the missing character in the Tempest, or the missing Shakespeare play that you may or may not have discovered. My name is Jeffrey Brown. It's not Jack. That was just a sort of a ruse to make sure no one knew who I was. My name is Jeffrey Brown. I'm the director of the Off West End Network, which is the network of 100 plus off West End theatres and the various companies that perform there. And our role is to promote, support, and celebrate independent, alternative, and fringe theatre. For those of you in the UK, and particularly those in London, you will probably know us because we run the Offies Awards, which are awards for fringe and alternative theatre. These, of course, have been in a bit of a hiatus over the last little while, since there hasn't been a great deal of live theatre. It came back for a little while and then disappeared again. In the lack of live theatre, we introduced the ONCOM award, which came from the Ofcom. Forgive me for all these ridiculous names. We introduced the Ofcom as an Offies commendation for short run shows, which we came in last year. We haven't had many short run shows either. They've been off the scale. So what we've done is we introduced the ONCOM, which was an award for online shows. Because we wanted to recognize what amazing people like you have been doing since lockdown began. And it has been quite extraordinary. And a number of the shows that you've been doing have been put forward for ONCOMs, and several of them have been awarded. So I wanted to sort of say, congratulations, you've been doing an amazing job. But I wanted to go one step further. About a month or so ago, we decided that what we really needed to do was that during this period, there have been some extraordinary, innovative, amazing ideas that have come forward in a whole host of different areas. And we run these awards, but they're for shows, or they're for a performance or a design. They weren't necessarily there to recognize something special. So we introduced the one-off awards, and we occasionally make a one-off award to an initiative that we think has done something to really push the boat out and contribute to the continuation of theatre in one form or another, and in some ways even more innovative than it has been in the past. And what I'm here to do tonight is simply to say we are delighted that our 5th one-off award goes to The Show Must Go Online. It's just fantastic. What you have achieved is amazing. What Rob and Sarah and everybody who's been involved. Luckily, I don't have to make a very long speech because Rob has just done it for me. It's fantastic. He's thanked everybody that ever needed to be thanked. But I just want you to know that, you know, it's not me making this award. There's a panel of judges and so on. And collectively, we really wanted to recognize the extraordinary achievement that The Show Must Go Online has made over the 8 months that you've been going. It's fantastic. We look forward to your Christmas event, and we look forward to other initiatives coming forward. So thank you very much. I'm sure you've all felt it was been worthwhile, but we, the audiences, and we who've been looking on have also found it so. So congratulations very much indeed.
I can no other answer make, but thanks and ever thanks. That is absolutely extraordinary. This is not a setup, or what, rather it is a setup. It's a stitch up is what it is. Oh God, what's happening? Okay, I've been handed an envelope.
You may open the envelope.
Okay, I am opening the envelope. Oh.
One of those events where you open your own envelope. Things have changed.
And the winner is fabulous, absolutely incredible. There it is, everyone, in writing. A one-off special award, the 5th ever given for The Show Must Go Online. Oh, that is absolutely tremendous. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, this is something that I genuinely have no idea was happening. So that's great. And it's something that I think is going to take quite a while to sink in. It's been 8 months of, and I slightly exaggerate, but not by much, 24/7 endeavor from everyone in the core team, trying to keep this moving forward, trying to put a show together. You know, when we started, we had no idea what we were doing or where it was going, all of that kind of stuff. We just had an idea. And it's a tribute to the power of an idea, especially when you're in a time of anarchy, like we have been, where things are so uncertain and so chaotic, that an idea in times like those can capture the imagination more so than ever before. And we are so lucky that each and every one of you captured this idea and ran with it and have carried the torch, not just those that are in the room right now, but all 500 of you that have been with us for this whole 8 months through thick and thin. It is testament to each and every one of you that we've made it. It's testament to each and every one of you at times that we've even managed to keep going. There have been some really hairy moments while we've been going through this process, but we've always tried to keep it simple, tried to keep it honest. Shakespeare is for everyone, and that means audiences, and it means participants as well. And we've got people in the room tonight from community theatres, and we've got people here that are 40-year veterans of professional acting. And what we say is that talent is equally distributed. And I think tonight has proved that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I think it's an extraordinary thing for all of you. So thank you very much. Thank you for this. I'm now going to take this and put it in a frame. And I'll be making photocopies and sending them out to all of the team. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have we had any questions, Sarah?
We have, yes.
Hey!
I haven't really looked at them yet, but they're there. Let me grab some.
You go for it, mate. You go for it.
All right,
Fabulous.
all right. Okay,
Fabulous.
I'll try and find. I'm going through for one for the cast to give you a moment.
Absolutely.
Give you a moment.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So we've had.
Sorry, I've done a rubbish award speech. Can I just put another little tiny bit in? Thank you to everyone from the office from Off West End for deliberating on this and deciding to award it. It really, honestly means the world. This kind of recognition is this kind of recognition really matters. It really matters, and the work that you're doing to champion things that happen at this level is absolutely essential. So thank you for that.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And my pleasure of my team. And God, it's not just me. I keep having to say that.
Thank you so much to everyone at the office. We're so appreciative. And thank you so much for coming onto the show as well, Jeffrey, to join us.
It's a pleasure.
It's so lovely to have you in person.
My absolute pleasure. It will, of course, I mean, the news will all be on our website, and we'll also be sending out a tweet about it and so on. So, I mean, you can share all that, and it will be announced out there.
Amazing.
Well,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, so I've got a question here because there has been lots of wonderful comments, of course, about the incredible music that we have in this one. So, Adam, would you be happy to kick us off? With one of the question was very simply, where did all the music come from? It was amazing. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about how you put everything together?
Sure. I mean, I'm not really sure how to answer where does it come from, because I'm not the greatest musician in terms of I can't sit down and just be like, I'm going to write this. I basically sit down and just force things out of my brain after like an hour's worth of just like, what's this, and then something will potentially come out, or it'll be rubbish the next day, whatever. So that's the first thing. So kind of all just randomly is my brain. But then for this week, for example, we had lots of wonderful influences. The sound world for this week was really cool for my personal taste, because it relied on a lot of popular culture references that really interest me massively. And I mean, it's a Tempest, so ships, storms, it's great. And so I've got to that point in the day, I think, which the rest of the team I've done, where it's just like mind blank completely. I'll try and speed up. We score it. I play a few instruments, and we've got and also I've got the wonderful musicians that we managed to get on board. My only sad note is that I didn't manage to get as many instrumentalists as I wanted in this, because there were so many people that replied, and I was like, this is amazing, this is great. And then the idea that we've got 3 days to put this together, maybe not. So apologies to all the people that I haven't been able to go get back to and say, but as we all now know, there is more stuff in the future happening, and we've got a little bit of a break until then. So I would be, if the team are up for it, if we ever do something in the future, I will be more than happy to have more of this in future shows. So, and I think, for example, there was a mandolin. I really, really want to get a mandolin in, and there was a mandolin, and I was like, I saw it come in, and I went, oh, this would be great, and I never got a chance to do it. So, yeah. I was only a little bit part though.
Ian now has to write the Mandalorian, which is a Shakespeare's Mandalorian. Also, just a shout out, just for those of you who are watching for the first time, all the instrumentalists that Adam used were actually alumni. So not only did we have incredible musicians in the show playing live, we also had them recording themselves and sending stuff to Adam, who then beautifully composited it all together from the compositions that he came up with. It's a Herculean feat. It's absolutely gigantic. And I think what Adam hasn't mentioned diplomatically is that we were up to the wire with it, and it was the same for our actors. Our rehearsals finished at 6:10 and our call was 6:30. So that was the dedication that each and every one of these people has put in over the last few days. Really, really extraordinary stuff. So thank you so much, Adam, not just for tonight, but for the whole thing. Amazing, amazing work. Sarah, any more questions?
Yes, so I've got one here that I thought might be quite nice to kind of throw out to the cast. Obviously a significant character in the show is Prospero. So the question here is, what do you most hate about Prospero and what do you most like about him?
I feel like we should start with David on that one, because you had to play him, mate.
The thing I most hate about Prospero is he reminds me of what a tyrant I can be in life. What I like about Prospero the most is the transformation into that far in life becoming an even bigger, richer human being.
Stunning. Stunning. Follow that, everyone. Yes, Andrew, the mic drop. Seriously though, what do we like most about him, or what do we hate most about him? I mean, hate is a powerful emotion, isn't it? Powerful word.
All right, I'll bite. I think what I hate about Prospero is, in many ways, especially at the beginning of the play, he represents some of the worst aspects of patriarchy, white supremacy, the worst devils of our nature and oppression that people, like many of those of us who are in this cast, have experienced. What I love about Prospero is that by the end of the play, he represents that no matter what society teaches you to be, you can be better, and the better angels of your nature can come out, and you don't have to stay that oppressive person, and we don't have to stay that oppressive society. We can be better. That's what I love about him.
Really powerful. I thought Ruben's points, it's something that we've really discovered really palpably over the run of this, through the whole run, is that the urgency that Shakespeare can bring to modern contemporary issues, because they were there 400 years ago and they're still here now. And the question has to be why? Why is this play still relevant? Why is this still triggering? Why are these flaws in our nature so ingrained that we don't seem to be able to overcome them, or we can't find the will to do so? And I think that bridging of time, where, as Ruben so beautifully pointed out, you see how instantaneous it is, or contemporaneous it is, I should say, after all that time, for me, just makes me want to do what we can about it. It just makes me want to do what we can about it. And I hope that's true for the people watching at home as well.
May I?
Yeah, of course.
I think one of the things that I won't say hate, but dislike about Prospero is he's very much someone who will justify the ends by the means. So in the beginning of the play, I feel like he has his plan. He's kind of this puppet master. He knows where he wants to go, and he will do whatever he can, even like shielding his daughter from the truth and whatnot to get there. But I do like how in the end, and this kind of mimics what David said, he does have this evolution. And I like that you do see that he does start listening to other people. And I think Ariel's a great character to represent this, because in the beginning, he has that whole speech where he's like, do you not remember that I saved you, blah, 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 you owe me. But towards the end, you have that beautiful moment where she goes, do you love me, master? And he says, dearly. And I think that whole relationship really represents that he is a character who started not necessarily in the most positive of lights, but he really did change. And it does represent that people can change. And I think Shakespeare's play is so relevant today because it does, even though it has magic and whatnot, it definitely does involve people's emotions and things that are, sorry, I speak French. This is very difficult to try to figure out how to say. It shows that people can change, and it is deeply rooted in human emotion, and that's something that is relevant back then as it is today. So,
yeah, the most magical and the most human of the plays.
Yeah,
fabulous. That's so, yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah Peachy, any more questions? You're on mute.
Sorry, I clicked and it didn't work last night, isn't it? Just checking. Did anyone else have any points on that? I thought I saw a hand wave in the corner.
Oh, sorry. Absolutely.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
double checking. No, we're good. Okay, lovely. So, what next? So yes, I must ask this one. How on earth did the ring sequence develop? It was so moving.
All right. So, Adam's already mentioned that we use a lot of pop culture references as touchstones of ways to anchor the plays into things that people kind of readily understand and accept from their daily lives. And the cultural reference that we were doing for this was Avengers Endgame, basically. It was the portals sequence from Avengers Endgame. And we were like, we have got 500 actors, which is probably about, well, it's maybe not quite as many as Marvel. In terms, like, they've got a lot of heroes. They've got a lot of heroes. I haven't counted them, but they've got a lot. But we have a lot of heroes too. And Shakespeare has a lot of heroes. And so we wanted to celebrate the actors, the timeline, the chronology, the whole thing, but we wanted to do it in a way that wasn't going to pull focus from the Tempest, because what we didn't want to do, and what we've always strived not to do, is to indulge ourselves and not serve the play. We always strive to serve the play first. And so the question was, how can we resolve one thing into another? And we marinated on this question for quite a while. And the idea was had, I can't remember who it came from because that's not how we work, but the idea was had that it could be a ring warming ceremony, which is actually something that Sarah and I had at our wedding, and was a really moving thing because it allows everyone to kind of, invest their energy and goodwill into the future of the marriage. And from there, we just reached out to the alumni. We needed to figure out who to pick, and we decided to go with Shakespeare's lovers. Including, of course, the most important of Shakespeare's lovers, C-3PO and R2-D2. We devised this kind of simple mechanism. You've seen these kind of stunt videos where they punch the camera and then the next person reacts, and it was, we'd seen all that kind of stuff online. And we just thought, okay, let's go with that. And then what do we want to say through it? And it was essentially like, what if the characters that were tragic lovers, what if they'd had happy endings? And if that was the case, what would their situation be? So I think you saw the Macbeths had children, which would have probably saved a lot of problems in that play. Wouldn't have been very interesting though. And that's just how it kind of came together. We sent out the brief on Monday. I feel like it was Monday.
It was Sunday, Rob.
Sunday. We sent out the brief on Sunday and we received the last video at 12:30 today. And then they were edited in time for the show. So that's how that came together. It's our alumni. We asked them and they did it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Where was my next question? Oh, yes. So I've got one here who's actually asked from one of our lovely young alumni. Hello. And the question was, have you got any tips or advice on acting or performing for online theatre? So I thought it might be quite a nice one to sort of throw out to everybody and say, what from your experiences, your kind of hot tips for doing this kind of performance.
Good internet.
I think it's a combination of good internet and having a contact base with Matthew Rhodes, who will help every Zoom gremlin there ever is known to man.
Absolutely. I'd love to throw this over to you, David, actually, because I'm sure our audience would not have noticed, but this was your first time doing online theatre, right?
Yes, indeed. My online virginity has been broken. Advice I'm really not qualified to give because I'm still coming down from that last speech. I absolutely lost it and was just trying to keep it together. I didn't expect it. It surprised the hell out of me that I could be so overcome with emotion while I'm talking to a computer screen. It's, I've been doing this a long time. And as I told you guys when when you first invited me to join the company, that what a thrill it is to be scared again. What a thrill it is to learn something new again, because that's the only way we grow as artists, is if we're continually learning and continually pushing the boundaries of our comfort. That's how we grow. And boy, did this push the boundaries. And I feel like and it did. It happened to me. I got so emotional. It was like, I almost wanted to walk away because I knew I was going to lose it. It was incredible. And thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this party.
Thank you for accepting the invite. We've been incredibly blessed, incredibly blessed. What about those of you who've done this a couple of times now? Where are veterans at? I want to hear from those veterans. What are your sneaky top tips?
Victoria.
To jump on that, if that's great. I would just want to say, make it. Like, I just urge you to make it and go on this journey, because I think the first time any of us did it, we had no idea what we were doing. And like David just said, that it was a journey. And I also urge you to make your own. Like, getting cast in one is obviously amazing. Rob made my dreams come true, and I got to play a pirate twice, and that was incredible. But also make your own, and even if it's not as technically beautiful as this was, like, make your own and play. And like, who knows how much longer we're going to be doing online theater, so create and play. And there's no right way to do it. If it's on Zoom, if it's with your iPhone camera, if it's live, if it's not, just play and do it. And whether it's a monologue or a sonnet or Shakespeare or not, just create, because that's the best thing you can be doing for your artistic soul in this time, is what I would say.
I'll say this, have fun. I was terrified. This is like terrifying every time. It doesn't go away, David, because we do it once. It's like, there is after tech, that is the first show and the last show. And sometimes you have to improv in iambic pentameter. Just go with it.
I'll jump in. I was going to say two things, and Victoria took one of them. But I agree, play, because this screen, it's two-dimensional and it's weird, but it allows for all this cool stuff to happen that you can't normally do when you're out in front of an audience. It's kind of like a movie, and you can play with that and just explore the boundaries at which you can push it. And I think Rob and the rest of the team has definitely allowed us to do that, and I'm very grateful for that. And the other thing is just kind of, when you're doing it, just listen, because there's a bunch of beautiful voices. There's beautiful voices backstage. There's beautiful voices on stage. And the energy that you get is from the people with you doing it. So yeah, that's all I got.
I like to say as well that in much the same way we do when we're on stage, love your audience. And you can't see them, but they're there. It's just like when the stage lights are on and you're blinded by them and you can't see the audience, but you know they're there. And I think for many, perhaps most of us here right now, when this happened this year and the theatres were closed, that was our first experience of it not being accessible to us. But there are many people for whom going to a physical theatre is a very difficult thing and isn't always accessible. By bringing this kind of thing online, it's not a second best, it's a whole new adventure. So bring that excitement and that joy, and remember the decades of amazing geniuses who created the internet and allowed us to do this thing that brings theatre into whole new worlds and whole new realms, and people who wouldn't usually get to be in that audience. So do it for them and love them. That's what gets me going, gets me through that fear.
I'd add too, just on a purely practical note, make sure that your sound is the best it can possibly be. People will forgive a lot of stuff visually, but if they can't understand you or hear you, it's pretty much game over. Unless you're doing a silent film, in which case, title cards are brilliant.
Matt Rhodes, I think you had your hand up.
I was going to put this in a letter that I was going to write to Rob, but I'll say it here as well. Something that I've really learned from this experience, and I bring it with this question because I think it's the best advice for experiencing and creating art in general, is to never think of anything as a box, to always think of it as a frame. And I think that the idea of not looking at limitations as shutting down, but as opportunities to play within. And I think that some of the stuff that we really, thanks, Alex. I think some of the stuff that we really, that made the Show Must Go Online keep growing is the idea of saying, okay, how can we keep playing in this frame? And so my advice would be to play with things that we didn't play with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny, Matt. I was just going to say, focus on what you can do, not what you can't. And explore that and dive into that and just hunt it down, because you'll be amazed what you can do. We had somebody doing a cartwheel on Zoom today with a camera. It's pretty cool. There's always new ways as well. There's always new ways, imitate by all means. Imitation's great. Imitation's wonderful. We've helped theatre companies get their feet on the ground with this stuff. Probably 15, 20 of them by now. And that's wonderful, because if you're just starting out, especially if you're a young person starting out, absolutely imitate. It's wonderful because it allows you to get into the bones of what's happening. I can't remember who it was, but there was a famous writer, I think, wrote a whole Charles Dickens novel out by hand, just transcribed it, just to be like, what did it feel like to write that? So I'm gonna write it out. And just getting a feel for it. So yeah, I think by all means imitate, but always play. Always think about how could it be done differently. Sarah, do we have any more questions?
Yes. So I've got one here about the harpy.
Yes.
So there's a question about the voice and obviously the fabulous performance that went along with it. So Betsy, would you like to tell us a little bit about how all that was put together?
Once the Chicago weather worked in our favor, because over the weekend it was raining and then really cold and like obscenely windy. So we had to wait for the right conditions to record it. But my wonderful partner, who's also my safety, who just got back he left after the fire, he's in it. And my wonderful, wonderful friend Amanda was the other fire wing. So I want to give a shout out to both of them for being amazing and yes-anding me. We recorded it at Amanda's house and she was wonderful when we had to reschedule it every night. So thank you. I love you. And yeah, it was something that Rob and I had talked. Initially, Rob was like, what if we did it live? And I was like, no, there's no way. I won't have a good internet connection if I go outside, and like, I can't do the fans in my apartment. We've got like 20-foot ceilings, but no. So I worked on that. Adam was wonderful and hooked me up with this voice modulator app that after much issue and cursing, we made work in the last hour or so, the last day. So I had a pre-recorded version that I recorded and did the Harpy 2. And then what you saw today was me live on my microphone trying to match up my movements to the text. So it was freaking awesome to get to do. I had a lot of fun. I haven't had a lot of chances like everybody to do fire this year. I'm part of the Chicago Full Moon Jam, and so we normally have huge performances near the beach. And we also moved online and have been doing some stuff for the community online. But yeah, it's been great. It was lovely to get to marry two things that I love so much in a character that I love. So yeah.
Fabulous. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Suit the action to the word to the action. It was marvelous. Just for the benefit of our audience at home, Betsy has had more to do on this show than any actor in the run. It is the most challenging role. It is the densest and most hardcore. And we pushed it from before day one. Yeah. So we got in touch with them and said, how do you feel about this? Do you want to go for it? And Betsy was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And every single time, you talked about your friend yes-anding you, Betsy. You yes-anded us with every ridiculous thing that we were like, what about we do this? And then not only that, but then you brought your own kind of new offers to the table on top of those. And so we did get some live firework in the show in Act 1, Scene 2, which was absolutely stunning and so beautifully. I said it in our chat, our internal chat that we're having while the show's going on. But it was unbelievable to watch someone do what you did and still have complete mastery of the verse and still deliver the text like an absolute champ.
Thank you.
You, for me, have raised the bar of what I would aspire to be as a performer.
I'm gonna cry. Thank you.
Honestly.
Okay, I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna turn red because that's what happens when I get emotional. Thank you.
Awesome.
Rob. Yeah, this has been a delightful opportunity and I'm grateful. And yeah, I'll have to share a time lapse of just the first moment, because I'm going from out there with fire to a costume change to in here with a microphone, and I have to activate this music share, which went okay for the songs. So most of that stuff was all within like 10 minutes of each other. But I got a workout. It was great. And I now know what my computer is capable of. So.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Betsy. Any more questions, Sarah?
Yes. So I'll do one while we've been talking about set pieces. I have a question about the what was named in the question as the leg stuff. So Stephano, Trinculo, and Caliban, epic legs everywhere and cartwheeling. The question was, how long did it take to rehearse and choreograph that sequence?
I'd love to throw that over to Tiff and Doireann.
I just at one point was like, Rob, can you send me a picture again of what this is meant to look like? I don't even know. Am I upside down? Whose legs are these? I was just like, so it's from the, Rob will tell you, it's what's the kind of wrestling move that it's based on? The
Tombstone Pile Driver.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't clock the time of me doing this. I didn't look at the clock. I couldn't. But I mean, Matt was very helpful because I was like, I don't know how. Please explain. I'm stupid. But it's, I mean, it took some time. My partner was just watching me like kneel on the floor and like adjust my camera and. Like at midnight. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm sorry.
You might notice that our cast are slightly delirious, and this is because they have been working constantly for this whole time to get this ready. It was based on the idea of, obviously it says in the text that it's a four-legged monster, and so we're like, what's the funniest way we can think to get four legs involved at once? And that was our answer on this occasion. And again, just trying to push the Zoom, the creativity, the innovation stuff. I must say now that we've got to the end, you groundlings are relentless with your demands for constant innovation, but it's wonderful to be a husky getting mushed every week. So thank you for your constant support and encouragement in that regard. Absolutely. Sarah, any more questions? Probably got time for maybe two more.
Okie dokie. So I've got one here that is more so for you, us kind of team who've been here on the journey. So the question was, what have you learned between Two Gentlemen of Verona and the Tempest?
All the plays. That sounds glib, but there's a stack of them I didn't know. There's a stack of them that I didn't know on the Thursday, and you were watching it on the Wednesday. So all the plays, genuinely. Anyone else?
Let's do. When are we doing Pericles?
Don't you say that name in here, John Huston.
John, you can leave now.
We're not going to talk about. I didn't even hear what John said. I think he was on mute.
What was the word?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear that. Honestly, I don't know if this is a learned thing. I guess it's a learned thing. I have gained so much confidence from like needing to do a show a week and like needing to talk to actors about stuff. And I had to stage manage once in high school and was not good. And then with the guidance of like Sarah and Rob and Emily, I'm not perfect, but I'm much better. But I mean, this is just such a whirlwind of you need to know every skill and you need to throw on a million different hats. And I have more hats.
Hats on the bingo card, if you haven't ticked it off already.
I think my big thing is just I'll never be scared going into a real life production ever again. One that actually has a standard rehearsal process. We'll get it done and it'll be great. That kind of a thing. Like that's the attitude I'll be able to kind of start having, and not having to create a show's worth of stuff in a few days is, working quickly. And I think it's the same with everyone, to be honest. But yeah, working quickly has been a big learning curve for me.
Emily?
Is she dead?
I have learned an awful lot about how many things I can set fire to in my garden without my neighbours objecting. I've also learned a remarkable amount about Shakespeare. I was already a fan of Rob's Shakespeare deck, but getting to see him do the Shakespeare deck live every single week for an insane number of hours per day has been extraordinary. I've learned so much about Shakespeare. I've learned so much about directing. I have learned so much about how to continue to challenge myself and to continue to work in a team that is challenging itself week upon week and not just going, oh, it's good enough. I had a great time. I've learned more than we have time for on the Zoom call, frankly. But it's been an honor. It really, really has.
Amazing. Sarah, any more questions?
So I've got one here, which I think is a nice one for everyone to pitch in on.
Great.
Considering where we are in the current environment and landscape, what kind of future do you envision for the company? But I think this applies to any theatre company really, in a world where we're fully past lockdown. So what place does digital theatre have in the future?
It's a really good question. Yolanda?
I would say that we're definitely going to all come together one day and do an international tour of the shows that we've done in all the hometowns of the actors. That's like just dreams right there. That'd be awesome to do. And I think it'd also be a great way to reignite all the theatres that we all know locally and love, and bring in all of us together, because we've all spent so long connecting, and I've made friends all around the world now, and I just want to see them, and I want to be able to act them in person. So I think that'd be amazing. I think that would be the next step for all of us. Yeah.
I'll throw in, as someone that gets to be a fly on the wall for a lot of R&Ds and conversations, if there's one thing you should know about Rob Miles, is that he is maybe one of the most ambitious people I have ever met. And I will openly admit that his ambition frightens me. But that man has so many ideas, the world is not ready. There are so many things that could happen. And if you continue to support us, I have a really good feeling that they will happen.
Putting it out into the universe for those impresarios. You heard it here. Let's get that international tour going. Absolutely. Fabulous. Anyone else?
I'll just want to reinstate what Michelle said earlier about the fact that online theater can actually give people who don't have the ability to go to a theater the chance to see it. So I think now this whole pandemic despite all the bad it has brought something new to the table. And I think that it's only going to evolve from here. Like, we don't know what online theater is going to be like next year, but it could still have its place among live theater whenever that comes back. So, yeah.
100%. Lynsey.
Can I? Yes, I just want to say I think it's. I mean, I think it's incredible what's been achieved, and also one thing I noticed, you know, from the sort of early on in the series to kind of late on the series as I was watching them as a groundling, is how incredible it is the way that Zoom works so that you can choose which character to focus on when you're, you know, when you're watching a scene. And when you watch live theater, you know, all sorts of, you know, invisible forces direct your focus so that you are being guided to look at what the creative team decides they want you to look at. Similarly with a film, it's edited, and your experience of the story and the characters is very much the way the director and the editor and the creative team want you to see it. With Zoom, you get to choose as an audience member. And I think that is just completely radical. And I don't see it as a thing that, oh, well, when live theater is back again, we won't do this anymore. I see this as a new medium that will go forward into the future with its absolute own flavor that can do things that the other media cannot do.
Yeah, I was talking to someone, and I'll just quick say something. I was talking to someone, and I was actually calling it a Brave New World contract, because it's something that is new and creative, and who are artists if not innovators. And I take great comfort knowing, and like, no matter which way anything will go, that we will have something, whether it is this, whether it is back in a theater, whether it is some sort of hybrid thing. And I know that when I am finally in a theater again with a real audience, that it will be, just as a performer, greatly shaped by the time I have had on here. And I think that that is something that needs to be said as well, that I will be a different kind of performer, but and my heart will have been shaped by the time that's been on this, not only in like as a human and as an actor. Like, that's just, I learned so much about myself as a performer just by these intimate moments.
Alex.
Hello. Just to say, I think that this whole thing has a massive future, because you've sort of, you, Rob, Sarah, Ruth, Adam, Emily, everyone involved, everyone watching, everyone who's done it has sort of created a new art form in amongst it all. And you've sort of responded to what has happened to the world in probably the most generous, kind-spirited and warm way, which is just to deliver wonderful stories and tales and give everyone an opportunity to have a creative outlet in what has been a pretty dry time around the world. So if it does go back to whatever kind of normality we go back to, this won't be gone. I think that this will still be here, because people from around the world, I literally am talking to people around the world at the moment, will be able to come together and put on a show in some kind of form for people who are indoors, who can't get out, who can't see anything, and still can enjoy something. So again, all in all it's done is just combine technology, creativity, generosity, warmth, and spirit to bring something rather beautiful to a pretty mixed up world. So congrats, everyone.
Sarah, any other questions?
I do have a couple of others that came through, but have we got time?
Read them out and I'll pick one.
All right. Hang on. Let me look. Let's see. We did that one. Yep, we've covered that one actually. So
done.
Yeah.
Done. Amazing. All right, everyone. If I can ask you all to retire to the backstage area for me now, please, as we are about to sign off for the final time. Thank you so much, everyone. Amazing talk back there. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone that's been watching at home. Thank you for joining us for this whole 8-month craziness. It's been a crazy journey, and it's been the honor of my life to get to work with all of the people that I've worked with and to get to have you all as an audience. And whether you're watching this now or 10 years from now, that's going to be one of the wonderful things about this project, is that we don't know if you're watching for generations to come, because this is just going to be here now for you. It's been here for you. It will be here for you. If you ever need it, come and find it. Thanks so much, everyone, and good night.